Oh, then remove it.
Or before we send it back.
Yeah, like you can remove it before if you want to. I don't believe it. I don't believe that. I don't believe it.
Well, I'm more gonna be without one sheet.
Of course I have. I'm just fine. We're happy to do that. Yeah, okay. This one, this, that has the reverse repealer already in it. You were gonna need to add one to that.
I saw one of the stairs, he said, he took our entry course, so that goes dead on that. So it goes dead on that. The actual bill.
Well, that's what I was asking. You're not gonna bring it up?
I'm asking them.
Oh, well, I don't know, I'm sorry, I just don't read it.
Well, I think that one looks like you both have a reverse repealer. Will you double check if the house is old or not? 928 and 929, do they both have reverse repealer? I think they do.
928 does.
Okay.
That's me down.
So then those do.
Waiting on this one.
929 does also.
Okay. So those both already have them.
So my birthday is on that day. Yes, I do.
Park three.
Just go get it.
Question.
He has some very good questions.
Yeah, I would. If you feel comfortable answering. And then I told him that we we're gonna get us some for this one. Bring it. Company and the grocer.
Well, with celebration of life, government was very fond of that.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's what it is. So we'll just have to see what
But that just comes to mind. Maybe it's sort of
Bring up the mall.
yeah.
Younger, 50. Yeah, you just work for mine. And there's maybe different sorts of. 2 points to younger.
Yeah, they get two on the board, 6 years.
We don't get to All right. Thank you all for agreeing to meet so early on Monday, but as you all know, tomorrow is our deadline day, and we have so much to do with so many other committees that we're all a part of. And so, again, thank you all for coming in early on Monday so we can attempt to handle most of these House bills that we have before us. And we would like to start with House Bill 196. And 196 is actually the Dignity for Incarcerated Women Act. And what this bill does is basically it's just asking for those women who are pregnant or may have childbirth, giving childbirth, to just be given a little bit more consideration, treated with a little bit more dignity while they're in the Department of Corrections, giving birth to a child and those types. that's basically what this bill does. If y'all have any questions for me, I will surely try to, in my best, handle those questions for Senator Simmons.
Thank,
Yes,
thank,
Simmons.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got an amendment at the appropriate time. It pertains to Section 8, subsection 2, on lines 210 and 211. And as I understand it, Mr. Chairman, this bill is supported by the commissioner, and it came over from the House. But the language, as I understand it, on lines 210 and 211 only provides the hygiene products if the females are indigent.
Yes.
And a lot of the calls I receive, Mr. Chairman, and members of the committee, is that we should treat these feminine products just like tissue and soap are treated for men. So we shouldn't make a distinction between who gets them. We should provide it to all females. So my amendment would be female inmates shall be provided. So if we just strike lines, on line 210, if we just strike lines who otherwise qualify as indigent, and it should read female inmates shall be provided menstrual hygiene products as needed at no cost. That's my amendment.
Question, I'm sorry, Senator Chasnow.
Perhaps Senator Simmons might want to amend his amendment to consider older female inmates who might need products of a similar type. Perhaps they are incontinent, if we're going to talk about personal products like that, so that it's not limited strictly to women of a certain age. If we're trying to enhance the dignity of women inmates, that would be my suggestion, if you want to amend your amendment so that all female inmates are provided with the necessary products.
Okay, well, thank you, Senator Chasnow. So, Senator Simmons, would you like to reword your amendment?
I guess we would deal with the access to feminine hygiene products in Section 8. Senator Chasnow, want to help me? I guess we just should provide it to all women, all the products that they need.
I suggest it perhaps just personal care products, and that sort of encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Does that wording suit you, Senator Simmons?
Yes, Senator Chasnow.
Personal care products, and that way it doesn't just limit it to a group of women at a certain age. Perhaps if we're enhancing the dignity of all the female inmates, it should just read personal care products.
Yep.
Unless that is offensive to anyone.
Are there any other questions on the amendment?
So Senator Simmons, I just want to make sure I understand how to draft this in a way that will accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish in Senator Chasnow. So if you look at the first part of Section 8 on lines 206 to 209, it already says that those products will be insured for your female inmates. So do you want to consider putting Section 1 and Section 2 together, or you just want to keep it and just repeat it and just have it? Because what you're doing would make it just, the only difference would make the products at no cost for all female inmates. You see what I'm talking about? Lines 206 to 209, okay.
I guess substantively, I agree with Senator Chasnow.
Okay.
As opposed to on line 207, we are calling them menstrual hygiene products.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the Department of Corrections shall ensure that sufficient personal care products
All right.
are available at each facility for all incarcerated women that have, women, period.
Okay.
And then strike the rest of lines 208 and 209, and also strike 210 and 211.
Okay, I got it. All right.
That way, all products that women, despite whether they on a menstrual cycle or not, should be able to get the product they need.
You might say disposable personal care products, and that limits it to the sort of things that he's talking about, but might include products for the older inmates as well.
So is there any other questions on the amendment? Is there any other questions on the bill? If not, Senator Simmons, I ask you for,
Is title sufficient?
No, on the amendment. We
On
got to pass the
amendment.
amendment first.
Also, actually, we adopt amendment, Mr. Chairman.
okay, any questions? All in favor, please, sign by saying aye.
Uh,
Opposed? Senator Sparks, I think you had a.
I do, and I was going to interject this. We were going to offer reverse repealer as an amendment just to make sure, not just for that language, but obviously this is a House bill and there may be some discussion on some other issues, but I was going to move that we place a reverse repealer in the bill. Be my motion. Amendment.
Thank you, sir. Any questions on the amendment? Senator Sparks, thank you for motion.
Just move that we vote to adopt the amendment.
Okay, Senator Sparks, actually, we moved that we adopt the amendment with the reverse repealer. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, all. Okay, moving on.
Now you want that.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt this strike all as strike all, just a strike all. I move that we adopt strike all.
It's not a strike.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, I'm sorry. I move that we adopt
Bill,
title sufficient due pass as amended.
thank you. It's been motion, title sufficient due pass as amended. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you all. Next bill we have is House Bill 928. And with this bill, I know it's a lot of code section that's been brought forward on this bill, but the intent of this bill is to handle two things. And the House included a lot of code sections. One of them is that all other state agencies have the opportunity through that agency to appoint or name an assistant executive director, but under current law, Mississippi, MDOC cannot do that. It can only be done through legislative action. And the commissioner has asked that we give him that authority to name one of the 4 deputy commissioners that he has as an deputy commissioner if he's not able to be there or to perform the action that he needs to do. And the other part of this bill is one that's dealing with the per diem for the parole board members, because right now there's some misunderstanding, I guess, between the auditors and them as to if they are to be paid while they travel and those type of things. And I talked to a former parole member, Senator Chazanoff, he thinks that, and I agree that they need to be compensated for their travel. So we're going to ask Senator Sparks for an amendment on House Bill 928.
Mr. Chairman, the 2 sections that address what you're referencing, I believe, are section 27 and what would be section 3, section 2, and section 4. And I'll just be clear, any of the sections that are not actually impacted, I would move that those sections be stricken. If there's not any new language, if the codes were just brought forward, that would be my amendment. The amendment would be any sections, I believe it's 2, 4, and 27, but any sections that were just brought forward and do not have any change in law would be stricken.
We've heard the amendment from Senator Sparks. All in favor of the amendment, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Senator.
I would also move that there be reverse repealer put in the bill.
Okay, also been moved as reverse repealer. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Senator Derek Shinle asks you for a motion. I'm sorry. Senator Norwood, you have a question?
Chairman, now this
So this bill deals specifically with the commissioner having the authority to appoint an executive deputy commissioner.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, I was looking through here to see, as far as, what about the community service part? Is that bringing, do anything with bringing those functions in-house, or is it still gonna deal with community-based organizations, provide, those services?
Say that again, Senator.
Does this have anything to do with bringing the community-based services in-house, or are they still gonna be providing those through, external organizations in the community?
I'm not sure on that one, Senator, but we looked at the bill a lot, and we just know that for the most part, there's just a lot of code sections brought forth, and we're just trying to handle two things in this particular legislation. So if what you're asking, if these are brought forth as they're gonna be handled, I'm sure that's already current law anyway, and they were just bringing those, they just added that into this particular bill. Is there a particular section, Senator?
When I was looking at line 187, this is under the Deputy Commissioner for Program Education, Reentry, and Vocational Rehabilitation Services. There are no changes with this. This is going to be as it is.
187.
Yeah, there are changes, that's all.
This all current law, Senator.
So none of that's changed.
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Simmons.
Titus Vision do pass as amended.
Thank you. It's been motioned that titles official do pass as amended. All in favor, let it be known by sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. The next bill we're going to look at is House Bill 1174, which is a great bill. It deals with, this one is to provide hospice for those terminally ill inmates that's within the Department of Corrections. And what this will be an operation between MDOC and those individuals who provide hospice to train those individuals who have been given life sentences to be there to provide that comfort to those, to their fellow inmates who are in their lives. We understand what hospice does, and this just gives those individuals who are there lifers, where these individuals would not be released, and to be there where the family can't be there to, I guess, to be that support mechanism in these individuals' last days here. And this was something that was very, very successful in Angola, and the commissioner wants to be able to do that same thing here with our inmates here. So, and it is very, very supported by a lot of individuals, a lot of even outside entities are really supporting this because they understand the importance for those individuals. So, is there any questions on this? Sir? Go, Senator Wiggins.
This could be a potential amendment if the chair is open to it. The Senate passed the bill that came through Medicaid about a facility for paroled inmates for hospice and other things. And we passed that and sent it to the House for the same reasons, to allow these facilities if the parole board so wanted, and decided that it was appropriate for certain ones to be paroled to the facility to be treated on that. So simply if the chair's open, would be to add that bill as part of this bill, which would be Senate Bill 2252.
Can I question on that? And I think
I'll answer questions on
Okay, thank you. Which I'm familiar with that bill, and I agree in adding that language. I think that bill also capped the number of people like at 100. So these could kind of be in conjunction with one another, because assuming that facility was full, we would still want to offer this hospice care to more so. So I think it is a good companion.
You're going down the thinking path that I was, whether that's smart or dangerous, I don't know. It's the same thinking path.
So now I guess I'll say that was a great amendment.
Yeah, there you go.
Time will tell.
Right.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, Senator, can you restate your amendment?
So my amendment would be that, in the strike all, we simply add Senate Bill 2252 to that.
To this language?
Right. And to this language, that's correct.
Would you also be okay with the reverse repeal?
Well, since you brought it up,
I'll do it.
the bill that we passed from the Senate had a reverse repealer.
Okay,
So,
okay,
so I guess I would adjust my amendment to say, as passed the Senate on that.
okay. Senator Simmons, Cerritos.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this bill pretty much only applies to those, that have a life sentence.
No, ma'am, it applies to those individuals who will become terminally ill while they're incarcerated. And it would allow inmates who have no possibility of being released to be that individual that can give them that hospice while they're inside MDOC. For example, if it happened at Parchman, then those individuals will have the opportunity of being around people that they've been around for, since they've been incarcerated, to be that person that would give them that kind of comfort in their last days.
Okay, thank you. I just want clarification.
Thank you. Okay, so we've all heard the motion. Hold on.
So do we get just a quick question on the amendment? So on the Senate bill, the effective date is a little bit different. I just want to make sure I can get clarity on that. Are we keeping the same effective date, or do you want to change that?
As it applies, I would say as it applies to that Senate bill, not to
Okay,
change the whole, whatever's in this bill would stay the same. And I
Okay.
think you could do that amendment, right?
yes, definitely.
That just that section would.
Okay, I can do that.
So, Senator Simmons?
And can I just make a comment, Mr. Chairman, to the question that was raised by Senator Simmons?
Yes.
And so hospice automatically or already means that you usually terminal 6 months or less. And from my understanding, what's happening now, we may very well, the department may be sending those people outside of the agency and paying all of these costs to some private place. And so it can be a lot of cost savings if we were able to do the same thing with them being inside of the agency. That's my understanding.
Is there any other questions? Senator Norwood?
But you are aware that some individuals on hospice are on hospice longer than that, right? Is there a limit for the time that they would be able to be on hospice?
That time is already determined by the doctors or whomever. That was not determined by MDOC or anyone.
Well, what I'm saying, but it's, you said what, it's not, that, I know people that have been on hospice longer than 6 months, and he could be longer than that.
As long as that individual is declared hospice, it's deemed that they should be on hospice, then no individuals who are trained that will be there until this individual transitions some,
Mr. Chairman, and even to Mr. Norwood's question, if a person is actually living longer than the doctors expected, there's still more cost to the taxpayers by them being outside of the agency
versus being inside.
That's right.
That's right. Okay. So is there any other questions on them?
Title sufficient do pass strike all.
Okay.
We adopted.
We have to adopt the amendment first.
Oh.
So is there any other questions? Move to adopt the amendment. All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Senator Wiggins?
Title sufficient do pass strike all. Yes.
Okay. All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Last one we have for today is House Bill 929. And it is not right, is it?
Sorry.
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Yes. Right. Or 23. Oh. That'll be fine.
On House Bill 929, I'm gonna let Senator Sparks explain the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 929 does two things. It brings forward code sections as relates to reentry for offenders and also as it relates to the prison industry programs. I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm going to offer a reverse repealer in this bill. Starting in section 23, the House has inserted the bill we passed that is the Reentry Court Act of 2021, which is when Judge Harrell came and that pilot program. So we do want to move this bill along if that's acceptable. I know it's code sections brought forward in the first 22 sections, but from section 23 forward, that is our reentry bill. So that's my explanation of the bill, and I'll take any questions on it. Then I would have an amendment at the proper time. Mr. Chair.
Senator Simmons, yes, sir.
Senator Sparks, the copy that Ms. Anita provided me at section 25, it seems like a reverse appeal is already in it. I believe.
If they,
Section 25?
yes, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yes,
okay,
it's already
okay,
there.
okay,
Thank you,
okay.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So I guess any questions, I would yield any questions if there are any on the bill, which already has a reverse appeal.
Are there any questions on the bill? If not, ask for a motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
That's it.
All right, it's been a motion. It's been motion. All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Right.
Thank you. Rise report. Let me see that.